This is the Good Government Show.
Our goal is really to have 0 drownings in Miami-Dade. And it's totally preventable. It's not an incurable disease. Drownings are preventable. Good government is doing what the people want and what the people need. It's so important to get your kids out in the parks, get away from the computers, get away from the cell phones, the social media, get outside, exercise, walk. And that's what I want them to know about our parks. It's a wonderful place to enjoy the sun, exercise, and also learn how to swim. Other wonderful things we do, we have a great Fit to Play program where we're teaching the children how to exercise, how to work on schoolwork after school, and also be active.
Here's an incredible statistic. The number one cause of death for children in Miami is drowning in pools, in the ocean, in canals, and it's preventable. That's the topic of today's show. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm Dave Martin. First, help us share the message of good government by liking us and sharing us where we are on all your social media platforms. Make sure to review us and send our show everywhere. We all need to talk about good government. Jim O'Connor is the chief of the Office of Drowning Prevention in Miami-Dade County. He was recently awarded for his program called 0 Drownings Miami-Dade. As you'll hear, he started this program with the goal of getting all kids in Miami, at the very least, comfortable in the water. With many beaches, parks, pools, rivers, and canals, water's everywhere in Miami, and that makes water safety important. As you'll hear, a shocking number of kids in Miami, they don't know how to swim. And that, Jim O'Connor will tell you, is something that can be fixed. He's doing it. He's working with other agencies like the Red Cross, and he's ramping up a program to change all that. Like many in government, he says it's a combination of public and private partnerships that's making the difference. I should add that Jim O'Connor was last year cited as a County Employee of the Year. He's also a lifeguard himself, and through different programs, he's taught thousands how to swim, and he's trained swim instructors. It really is his passion. Coming up, a conversation with a real public servant. I talk swimming with Jim O'Connor from Miami. We have a new partner here on the Good Government Show, HelloNation. This is a new digital magazine that showcases the best of cities across the nation. We'd all prefer if good news traveled faster. At HelloNation, positive stories don't just get told, they get amplified. HelloNation helps businesses, leaders, and communities share positive stories that matter, building trust, credibility, and meaningful connection. Through professionally produced podcasts, digital features, and targeted distribution, HelloNation positions you as the answer regular folks are looking for, while expanding and scaling your digital footprint across the platforms that people trust. Good news deserves momentum. Your city or your business can help spread the word of good news across the nation. At HelloNation, they don't just have advertisers, they have advertisers. Editorial content from trusted community leaders and cities that are helping spread the good news. Let HelloNation lift you up and lead the conversation. Visit HelloNation.com to learn more. Once you wrap up this episode of the Good Government Show, give a listen to our friends over at Good News for Lefties. This daily podcast highlights news stories that show there's more good news out there. Other people in government are really trying to do the right thing. That's Good News for Lefties. Listen where you're listening now. Well, I am very happy to have with me Jim O'Connor from my old hometown, Miami, Florida, the Miami-Dade County. You are the Chief of Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Department and the Office of Drowning Prevention. Have I got it right?
Yeah, you got it right. Kind of switch that. We have another director that's kind of the Chief of Park and Rec, but I am the Chief of the Office of Drowning. The chief of the Office of Drowning Prevention. And the reason why you're here is because we're at the National Association of Counties annual conference, and you are about to get an achievement award for a program called 0 Drownings Miami-Dade. 0 Drownings. What is this program? First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about Miami-Dade.
Please. I know a little bit about it.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, we have, water all around. It's a wonderful place to be with the sunshine and the bay.
Yep.
But there's also a little bit of a sad side, and that is we are the leading cause of accidental death for children ages 1 to 14 is drowning in Miami-Dade.
1 to 14, the number one cause of death is drowning.
That's correct.
Is it it pools or ocean, lakes, water? What's the breakdown?
It really depends on the age. For the younger children, it's typically the swimming pools. The older children, it's more of the open water, the beaches, the canals, those type of things.
Stupid kids jumping off bridges?
Yeah, usually the teenagers are kind of overestimating some of their ability.
Okay. But that's really tragic that drowning is the number one cause of death, and it's preventable.
Yeah, it's totally preventable. And, you mentioned our name, and that's what it is. Our goal is really to have 0 drownings in Miami-Dade. And it's totally preventable. It's not an incurable disease. Drownings are preventable.
And how did this come about? Where did this idea come from?
Basically, we've been working on it a number of years, and finally we kind of had the right pieces of the puzzle in place. The county, Mayor Cava was very...
the county mayor? The
county mayor was very committed to preventing drowning in Miami-Dade. The superintendent of Miami-Dade County Public Schools was very committed. The Children's Trust, which is our children's service agency in Miami-Dade, their CEO, they, basically all came together and said, hey, this needs to stop. We need to do something about it. And that's really what 0 drowning is all about.
And was this something that people were clamoring for, or was this just something that people like yourself realized we needed to fix?
Everybody's always said it's a good idea.
Okay.
But
yes, 0 drownings is a good idea, sure.
That's when we're trying to sell it, to say the county commission or the school board. Everybody agrees, but it's just having the right pieces in place to make it happen.
But you talk about, waterfront access. You've got all of Miami Beach, Coconut Grove, you've got Matheson Hammock we talked about in Coral Gables in that area, Gables by the Sea, and then down in Homestead. There's just beachfront and there's canals, right? And then every other house has a pool.
Absolutely.
And, and a lot of boats.
Yeah, I wanted to say state of Florida. Let me throw another stat out there. There is one pool for every, one residential pool for every 14 people in the state of Florida.
Really?
Yes.
And not to mention city pools and county pools and parks and that sort of thing.
Hotels and apartment complexes, all that good stuff.
That's a lot of pools.
Yeah.
So you said it took a while to get all these elements together. What elements did you have to bring together?
Well, first of all, we brought the county. Okay. And that's what my office, the Office of Drowning Prevention, is under.
I'm sorry, I have to back up. How long has there been an Office of Drowning Prevention?
We got established last August.
Okay.
So it's basically brand new.
All right.
Okay. Before that, I had overseen all the swimming pools and beaches in Miami-Dade County.
I have to ask, are you a retired lifeguard or something?
I'm a current lifeguard. So I'm still a lifeguard and swim instructor and instructor trainer and those type of things.
Do you still be a lifeguard? Do you still take
Not since I took my new position as chief of the Office of Drowning Prevention.
How long ago were you an active lifeguard?
I supervised the lifeguard, and you mentioned Matheson Hammocks, you mentioned those places 2 years ago.
Wow. Okay. All right. So you really truly were on the front line of this problem.
Yes.
I have to ask, did you rescue anyone?
Over the years,
many times?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Which is a harrowing experience, I'm sure. So this is in some ways, I would imagine, kind of personal for you.
Absolutely. It's been one of my, commitments. Prior to being with the county, I worked for the American Red Cross. I've taught at the University of Miami. I'm originally from Oregon, where I coach swimming at the University of Oregon. So, I'm one of those people that has really known the importance of preventing drowning and knowing that it is preventable. I wrote my master's thesis on accidental drownings in the United States.
All right.
Okay. So this has been a lifetime goal, and it really finally happened last year, where it all came together to make a difference.
Well, that sounds like good government.
Absolutely. And what's so neat about this program, it's a true partnership. Okay. And that's what we really have to have. We have to have the county talking to the school system, who's talking to Head Start, who's talking to the funders, United Way. The American Red Cross is our technical advisor, and we use them not only locally, but nationally. And also bringing in all the other municipalities. Besides Miami-Dade County, I think we have something like I want to say 35 municipalities in the county.
Right. Different separate cities.
Yeah, City of Miami.
Miami Springs,
City
Coral
Hialeah,
Gables, Homestead. Right. Yeah.
Okay. And they all have pools. They all have parks departments. And so just working out the logistics to get everybody involved for this common cause.
Was it hard for you to rein in all of these different municipalities in the county?
Some yes, some no. Okay.
Like anything else, I suppose.
Yeah, we're still working on it. As you mentioned earlier, when if I go to a city council meeting, I get up there and talk. Most of the time, the city council members don't always agree on one topic. But so far, we've been lucky enough that every municipality and county government that we went to and pitched the idea, they said this is a wonderful idea and we want to be part of it.
Is there a model for this anywhere in America?
Basically, we started for this age. Broward, had done something similar for Fort Lauderdale. For older age kids, we wanted to reach the younger age kids, so we're really gearing it towards the 4-year-olds and the kindergarten children. And
are those kids getting swimming lessons traditionally? I mean, is this a group of kids that learn how to swim growing up in Miami and South Florida?
Unfortunately, most people in South Florida don't know how to swim. Okay. And
as amazing as that sounds.
Yeah. And so what this program does, it's a school year program for the Learn to Swim component. Okay. So we're using the municipal and private pools when they're typically not used. And so we pick up a group of, say, kindergarten children at 9:30 in the morning. We bring them to a municipal pool. We teach a 30-minute class, and we do that for 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
And then we bring the child back to their kindergarten. And then while those kids are in the water, the bus leaves and picks up another group of kids and drops them off. And we just keep shuttling that until about 12:30.
And how long is the program?
The program it'll start in the school year.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for year 2, our first session is going to start on September 15th. And it'll run in 2-week sessions until really June. Okay, and then what?
So every kid goes through a 2-week class.
2-week session.
And do they know how to swim after the end of 2 weeks?
What we call is a water competency program.
Okay,
and we've worked with the American Red Cross. We're using their skill checkoffs. They have a scientific council where we're doing pre and post testing, and we monitor all that. What our goal is basically if a child falls in the water, being able to turn around, make it back to a position of safety. And so, we're not teaching the child to be an Olympic swimmer.
All right.
Okay, for these 4 and 5-year-olds. But the whole idea is to educate them on water safety. And that's another component. We have a whole Red Cross curriculum that goes with the lessons.
Okay.
Be safe around the water and life jackets and other important factors in South Florida that we want to teach. And then we do those lessons. Basically our goal is just to make them water competent.
And is it enough for the kid to go out to, Miami Beach or Oliver and, play around in the waves and feel comfortable?
At 4, no. Okay. Not without
you still need adult supervision.
You always need adult. And that's another component. Besides, so there's 3 components. Besides the lessons, which is our major component, we also educate the parent and caregiver. Okay, so they register the child. We send them, and we have a online water safety course that the Red Cross has called Water Safety for Parents and Caregivers. We make sure all of our materials in 3 languages: English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole. We actually worked with the Red Cross to take their material and translate it to Haitian Creole, and that's used not only in Miami-Dade County, but throughout the United States. And then the other component, we have a community outreach where we're out in the public talking about the importance of supervision, signing your children up for swim lessons, because we don't want this a one-shot deal.
Right.
So they go through our program. We want them to come into the parks and take the afternoon, take the summer classes. We want their older brothers and sisters and to sign up for lessons. Do you see people extending beyond this program and signing up for? When I was a kid, we took swimming lessons at the Y. I mean, do you see that? Do you see that progression yet? Absolutely, and it's a great marketing ploy. And I know with Miami-Dade County Parks, a lot of the kids that go through the program then will sign up for evening or summer swim classes. And that must make you feel much better about the whole thing. It's great. And we talk about this and why we're starting with swim lessons. 88% of all children that drown, have had no formal swim lessons. So this program will make a difference. We hit like about 2,200 this year in year one. We're shooting for 10,000 children next year, and hopefully
you're going to go from 2,000 to 10,000.
Yep, we're getting all the logistics. Year one was tough. I'm going to say we have all kinds of data sharing agreements and transportation agreements and cooperative agreements with municipalities, the school systems, the providers, our fiscal agent. And so all of that work is done in year one. So now we're really shooting to expand, especially in the next 3 years.
Does this cost Miami-Dade County anything?
Okay. The way it works is funding was provided through the Children's Trust as a startup. Okay. That includes money for the scholarships. That also includes to set up our office initially, and then the county, as it's phased in, is going to take over the 4 positions that are in the Office of Drowning Prevention. So the county is a stakeholder, Children's Trust is a stakeholder. Then we have outside funders, private. I mentioned United Way. Yeah. Okay, and there's several other providers. American Red Cross has a scholarship program we've used, their Centennial program. So the idea is...
So a public-private partnership is essential.
It's perfect. And besides the scholarships for the lessons, which we pay the municipalities for teaching them, okay, so we reimburse them, and the private providers, we also pay for the transportation to the school system and to the Head Start kids.
Is this money well spent?
Absolutely. Okay. It makes a difference, and, we're working around the school system because, there was blackout dates. One of the reasons we picked kindergartens is we figured they wouldn't have as many mandatory testing dates as the older children do.
Fair enough.
But even with kindergarten children, there's some dates, particularly in the spring, where we kind of aren't able to serve the Miami-Dade County kindergarten children. But at that time, we serve the Head Start and we serve the private daycare centers.
And this may sound a little callous, but all the money that you spend on, this program to prevent drownings is much better spent than the cleanup from drowning incidents.
Absolutely. Was
that part of the figuring?
Once again, just the healthcare costs. You mentioned that, can be in millions of dollars, particularly if they're non-fatal, where they may survive, but then have, some type of catastrophic injury, such as brain damage.
Right.
On that. But yes, one child life saves, pays for it all.
One of the things I talk to government leaders around the nation about when I talk to them is, their goal is to have a park within a 5-minute walk of everyone's house. I lived in Miami, as we discussed. I know there's lots of parks. How are you coming on park access throughout the county?
That's what we're doing. And not only, once again, the county, but all the municipalities. So what our goal is we identify a center or school that's within 15 minutes travel time. Okay. And as we get more parks and hopefully more pools, then we can, expand our realm throughout the county, our reach.
Are you trying to build more pools?
Some, okay. And, we're getting a few. We're renovating some of the pools that we currently have. There are some municipalities that are coming on board that have brand new facilities, which is nice. And so we're incorporating those facilities. And then the nice thing, like I mentioned, since we do have it during the school year, is, parents will come up to me all the time and, there's reasons. Most parents will want to sign their child up for swim lessons.
Sure.
But they don't know where the pools are.
Yep.
That might be expensive. This is a free program. They work. So the lessons aren't, taught to the kids, maybe in the summer they can take them. What this program does is during the school year, so the parents are so happy with the program because it basically in some way does their job for them because it brings the kids to the lessons and takes them out.
One of the least expensive things you can do is throw a bunch of sandwiches in a picnic basket or a cooler, take your family to the beach, and especially in South Florida, spend a day at the beach. This helps everybody, right?
Absolutely. And like I mentioned, besides educating the children and teaching the children, a key component is also to educate the parents because they don't know, the importance of supervision in, on, and around the water. And, it only takes, 30 to 60 seconds for a child to drown, to be completely underwater. And so if they're on their cell phone talking to their friend, they may not understand the importance of them watching their child.
And you're a lifeguard, but you're up in the lifeguard chair and you see a kid having trouble. By the time you spot them, I'm guessing they're several seconds into their problem. By the time they get down there, it could be too late.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we always talk about preventive lifeguarding.
Okay.
If you see the child, going down the pool, edging its way towards deep water, we kind of bring them back.
I'm thinking of the ocean, but it works at the same way.
We ask the parent, we'll blow our whistle and remind parents the importance of watching their children. And that extra layer of supervision.
Have you been in touch with places like, Broward or out in California, in San Diego or Los Angeles County? Is anyone doing anything similar?
One of the neat things is this is kind of highlighted. There's a program the American Red Cross does nationally, which is called their Centennial Program. And we're working right now with some of our curriculum, and they've kind of identified some other partners. I've talked to Chicago, for example. We got Seattle. We got San Diego. So some of the other municipalities around the country, and hopefully, we'll all have some good ideas.
And anyone can call you and they can steal your ideas, right?
Right. No, that'd be perfect. Okay. I would love for them to steal my ideas.
Okay. Well, we'll put your number on our website. They can call you directly. All right. Well, that is certainly good government in action. We like to hear that. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, we're going to get to the hard part. This is going to take a moment. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. The Good Government Show is sponsored by Our. That's OUR for Our Community. Get involved. We hear that all the time from government leaders. Our co-brands with your government's name and logo. Your staff and the people you serve are connected and part of your community. From any device, your members provide reliable data and meaningful feedback. Ask a question like, do we want more parkland or better homeless services? More engaged conversations come through the Our app. Visit Ourco, that's OURCO.com, and book a demonstration. After you get done with this episode, hear more good government stories with our friends at How to Really Run a City. Former mayors Kasim Reed of Atlanta and Michael Nutter of Philadelphia, and their co-host, journalist and author Larry Platt, talk with guests and other mayors about how to really get stuff done in cities around the nation. Check them out where you're listening now or through their nonprofit news site, thephiladelphiacitizen.org/podcasts. So we have a questionnaire that we talk to everyone about. Usually they are elected officials, so this will be a little bit different, but we're gonna get to you. How long have you worked for Dade County Parks?
34 years. In February, it'll be 35 years.
35 years with Metro Dade.
Yes.
Wow. All right. Miami-Dade. Sorry, Miami-Dade County.
Miami-Dade.
What is good government?
Good government is doing what the people want and what the people need.
What if what they want isn't exactly what they need?
Then that's where the politics come into play. That's why trying to persuade them in some cases, if we know what is good for them.
And that could be a hard sell.
Which is safety.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I want to stress.
That could be a hard sell though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It could be.
So what do you do?
One is to show them the facts, educate, educate, show proven results, use other municipalities, like you mentioned, other counties, the best practices throughout the county to really show that it works. And make sure the program is a quality program too.
Okay. Well, not always simple, but simple, right?
Yes.
Okay. If people are frustrated with government, if they don't like the way things are going, if they don't like what they see in their parks, what should they do?
One, let us know. Okay. Yeah. And I think that's one thing that I've noticed in the last, I want to say 10 years, is just, through QR codes, through phone numbers that they can reach, surveys. I know we do all kinds of customer surveys.
Okay.
It's really a chance to hear, what their concerns are, and also what the things they like are.
All right. So you were a swim coach, I think you said at the University of Oregon?
Yes.
A swimmer yourself?
Not as good as I was a coach, but yes. Okay.
All right. What drew you to public service? What made you get into working for county?
I mentioned when I was, actually I was a business major. Okay.
Of course.
And then I kind of had a mentor at the University of Oregon that kind of took me under his wing, and he got into aquatics. I received a research grant to study accidental drownings in the United States.
Right.
Became involved with the American Red Cross. decided after I taught 1 year at the University of Oregon, I wanted to kind of live in the sun and by the water. Moved to Miami, and I continued my love
you couldn't
for
pick
water
farther
safety.
parts across the country from Oregon to Miami.
Yeah.
What drew you to Miami? Just the weather?
Just the weather. I remember coming here on a January day after leaving Oregon, and I was out in the bay, kind of scuba diving and being pulled behind a boat. And I kind of thought
that'll do it.
This is kind of nice.
Yeah. That'll do it. Who inspires you?
One of my mentors was Dr. Don Van Rossen of the University of Oregon. Just numerous people at the Red Cross, on some of our county leadership. We've had some excellent directors. So those have been really my mentors throughout the years.
Did you see yourself getting into public service?
I saw myself, staying in aquatics as an aquatic professional.
Okay.
And that's something I've always loved, whether it's teaching swimming or coaching or lifeguarding, is just seeing myself always want to be in that role.
Every county, every city's parks department is kind of the crown jewel of the municipality, of the county. What would you like people to know about how parks work? People want to use parks for everything. They want it to be their park. What would you like people to know about the Parks Department?
Well, number one, we're out there, okay? And so, hopefully, they're knowledgeable where the parks are. It's so important to get your kids out in the parks, get away from the computers, get away from the cell phones, the social media, get outside, exercise, walk. And then, of course, what I'm going to say is make sure you teach your kids to swim. And that's what I want them to know about our parks. It's a wonderful place to enjoy the sun, exercise, and also learn how to swim.
What's the best part of your job?
Best part of my job is seeing the results and seeing the look on the child's face when they can swim across that pool, seeing the look on the parents' face when they're totally amazed at how well the child is doing and how important water safety is.
Have you had anything that people have gotten back to you and said, as a result of this class, this made a difference?
A lot of testimonials. Okay. As I mentioned, parent testimonials, loving it. A lot of those testimonials are coming from parents that don't know how to swim.
Yeah.
Especially in Miami-Dade, we will have parents that are afraid of the water, and that makes them apprehensive about making sure their child knows how to swim.
Which is too bad, because you've got this beautiful water right there.
Right.
Especially it's a little hot in July and August, but the rest of the year it's beautiful.
Right.
What keeps you up at night? What are you worried about?
I used to when I was supervising the beaches and pools. Okay. Yeah. Just making sure that, that lifeguard didn't see that child that was out of the corner of his eye. Okay. Now what keeps me up is much more positive.
Okay.
Knowing that, we're making a difference and thinking about how we're going to serve. We talked about, over 2,000 this year, 10,000 next year, and then 20,000 when we're fully all up and running. You mentioned you went diving the first time you came down to Miami. Do you still dive? Not as much, no. And that's just something that over the years, I think I kind of took it more for granted and kind of got out. What do you do for fun? For fun, mainly exercise. I love to travel, be at those parks, those type of things. You don't head down to the Keys and dive a little bit? We do a little bit, okay. Like the garden, all that kind of stuff. This is going to be a silly question coming from me, but I ask this of most government leaders, mayors and county commissioners. What's your favorite local dish? Local dish in Miami? Yes. Well, hey, my wife's Cuban. Okay. Vaca frita. Okay. Actually, I became the Cuban cook for the family. You did? So, yes. So you make everything that she should be making? Yes. So you're going That's Cuban. Right. And the relatives like my cooking better. I don't tell her that. She's not going to hear this, right? She doesn't listen to you? I can't imagine why she would want to listen to you talk for half an hour. Okay. What do you think is the most impactful or inspiring thing that the Parks Department in Miami does? Well, number one, for me, it has to be, teaching kids to swim. Okay. But I'm biased. Okay. Sure. Other wonderful things we do. We have a great Fit to Play program where we're teaching the children how to exercise, how to work on schoolwork after school, and also be active. So this is the Good Government Show. We always like to bring it back to good government. Give me an example of some good government in the Parks Department in Metro-Dade. Good government is making sure that the pools are safe. having the swim instructor certified, having the lifeguards in place. Also, good government is just making those parks available to everyone, regardless of economic or location in the county. Okay.
Yep.
So that's what we really stress to do, making our programs extremely affordable, and in most cases free. Okay.
Even better?
Yes, better. And so we take it from there and just providing our services to everyone.
Jim O'Connor, you are the chief of the Office of Drowning Prevention for Miami-Dade County, the Parks and Recreation and Open Spaces Department. Congratulations on your NACO Achievement Award for Zero Drownings Miami-Dade. Teach the kids to swim.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Want to hear more about good government? Check out another show I host, Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. I host the show with Brad Kavanaugh, Mayor of Dubuque, Iowa, and the immediate past president of the Iowa League of Cities. Together, we talk to leaders in Iowa cities. We talk about what works and what good government looks like in Iowa. Join us right here where you're listening now. That's Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. It was called the War to End All Wars, but it didn't. 3 royal cousins, all kings, one from England, one from Germany, and one from Russia, blundered their way into a war, a completely avoidable war that left millions dead in the trenches across Europe. Good Government Show executive producer Jim Ludlow details the blunders, mistakes, and bluster that started World War I that didn't end all wars. The book, The Royal Cousins, details the events and creates an alternative history. Imagine if World War I never happened. It didn't have to. Just read it yourself. Download the book today on Amazon. It's just 99 cents and a timely look at history. I think Jim O'Connor said it best. If a program like this can save one kid from drowning, it's a good program. Good government can come in all forms. And one program, teaching kids to be comfortable around the water, well, that's good government. And it's something everybody can agree on. And like a true good government servant, he said anyone's welcome to steal his idea. Just give him a call. That's spreading good government around, and it's a good use of government dollars. Actually, the way the program is structured, the government investment is small. Well, enough of this talk. Time to head to the beach, especially if you're in South Florida or some other warm place. Surf's up. That's our show. Thanks for listening. Please like us and share us with your friends and review us right here where you're listening. And check out our website, goodgovernmentshow.com, for extras. Help us keep telling stories of good government in action everywhere. Join us again for another episode right here. I'm Dave Martin, and this is The Good Government Show. The Good Government Show is produced by the Good Government Institute, a nonprofit organization promoting civic engagement and civic education. All donations to the show help promote trust in government. You can donate at goodgovinstitute.org. That's goodgovinstitute.org. Executive producers are Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder. Jason Stershic is our editor and producer. Join us again to hear good stories about our government right here on The Good Government Show.
This podcast is part of the Democracy Group,